Welcome and good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight as we showcase all the different ways NC State is involved and supports the oyster industry in Eastern North Carolina. I'm Ellen Richardson, Senior Director of Alumni Engagement at the NC State Alumni Association. It's exciting to see that we have alumni and friends joining us from Raleigh all the way up to Elizabeth City and down to Wilmington and everywhere in between. Tonight, we hope you'll enjoy the presentations, pick up a new cocktail recipe, and hear a few NC State pride points that you can share with your friends in your home community. In the breakout rooms coming up later in the program, we'll be featuring 3 topics. First, Dr. Whitney Nolenberg from the College of Natural Resources and her work with Jane Harrison on developing the NC Oyster Trail to boost marine aquaculture tourism for our state. Dr. Dave Eggleston, Director of the Center for Marine Sciences and Technology, or CMAST as we call it, and his work on oyster restoration at NC State's campus by the sea. And last but certainly not least, Eric Herbst from NC Sea Grant and Daniel Bowling, a PhD student at NC State. They'll be taking you behind the scenes with local oyster growers and harvesters to see firsthand how oysters make their way from the ocean to your table and the research that's done along the way to improve the industry for all. Before I invite Chancellor Woodson to say a few words, I want to thank our guests who are members of the Alumni Association for your membership. Membership dues help fund the programming we offer, just like tonight's event. And now I will turn it over to Chancellor Woodson, who I'm sure, like many of us, is missing the fun and festivities of our oyster roast this winter. Chancellor Woodson.
This is Zoom. Is it playing in?
Oh, there I go. I was struggling to unmute. How is everyone? You know, I'd like to say I'm thrilled to be with you. And of course, I am thrilled to represent NC State tonight, but I would really like to be with you and enjoying oysters at CMAST, or as we always have in the last 10 years since I've been here in Little Washington. So it's great to be with you, and it's a great night to celebrate everything that NC State does to support the oyster industry and frankly, support the ecosystem that is the coast of North Carolina. I thought I'd give you a little bit of update in case you didn't remember. We are in a global pandemic now, so things are a bit different at campus, and we cannot wait for things to get back to normal, but we are delivering on our promise of research, education, and service to the people in North Carolina. And we're committed to doing that, and we're doing it throughout this pandemic. Our students, many of them have come back to campus. We have over 5,000 students, between 4,000 and 5,000, living in our residence halls. We've reduced the density to ensure that they can stay safe, and that's gone very well. We are doing a lot of testing for COVID-19, and I tell our faculty and staff and students that it's free to them, but it's not free to the university. So we're spending a lot of money to try to keep the campus safe and to keep our community safe and really understand where the virus is in our community so we can isolate people and keep NC State safe. I know that this time of year and every time I'm in Little Washington or along the coast interacting with alumni, this is the time of year when they're always asking me about admissions. So I will tell you all, everyone that's listening tonight, that we had another robust year of applicants to NC State. In fact, an all-time record. At this point in time, we're running about 10% of the same number of applicants last year. We've had over 34,000 students, or prospective students, apply to NC State for admission. We've already gone through the early admissions process and have admitted almost 10,000 students to NC State. From that admission pool, we'll derive our freshman class, but we have a number of students that have been deferred, that did not get their application in time for early decision, or for some reason their decision has been deferred. That doesn't mean they're denied. It means that they'll be part of the normal regular admissions process that occurs in March. And so we're excited to bring another crop of students into NC State next fall. And I can promise you, they're looking forward to a university that gets back to in-person instruction and all the things that go along with being a student at NC State. And having said that, I do, for those of you that haven't been back on campus in a while, I hope you do come because we have some new amazing facilities that you'll want to visit. We've opened up Fitzwillard Hall, which is our new Hall of Engineering it's the home of civil, environmental, and construction engineering, as well as industrial and systems engineering. And then we're under construction for our world-class plant sciences research center that's well along. And we've opened a new addition to Carmichael Gymnasium, our health and wellness rec center, which is a phenomenal place for our students. So students are back on campus. They're enjoying the benefit of our libraries and our rec center, and they're studying and progressing in their degree programs. So that's a bit of an update for NC State. We're staying strong financially. It's been a challenge through COVID-19, particularly when we weren't able to house as many students on campus. But I can tell you that we're keeping our employees working, and we're doing everything we can to keep the university strong. And the legislature is helping us quite a bit in that regard. We continue to receive strong support from the legislature of North Carolina. So I want to thank all of you for your commitment to NC State. For those of you that are always keeping track of where we are with our campaign, the Think and Do the Extraordinary campaign, we have surpassed our original goal of $1.6 billion. And to date, we've raised $1.9 billion. And the campaign will end officially in December of 21. And I believe with all my heart, we're going to surpass $2 billion raised for the benefit of the students and the faculty and the programs at NC State. And I can't thank all of you enough for everything you've done to be part of that. And so with that, Ellen, I know we have a great program, so let me turn it back to you so you can introduce the other speakers.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chancellor Woodson. We can't wait to see you and Susan at the coast for our next Oyster Roast. As many of you know, no oyster roast is complete without a good drink to pair with your oysters. So now would be a good time to grab your ingredients from the list we emailed you in advance. We are fortunate to have an alumni-owned gin distillery and restaurant in downtown Little Washington to share their mixology knowledge with us tonight. Susan Hackney Sanders, class of 1991, is going to introduce us to her team to share 2 cocktail recipes featuring their gin, Thousand Piers. You can check out the link we're posting in the chat now for where to purchase Thousand Piers in your area. We love to support our alumni-owned businesses.
Welcome to the Hackney. I'm Suzanne Hackney Sanders, yep, you're here in the Hackney today to make some cocktails with our bartenders. I went to NC State where I attended industrial engineering. My dad and my uncle also went to NC State, so we're all very proud alumni of NC State, and my daughter Georgia is also going to NC State now. So yeah, I loved NC State, and I'm very excited that we can be part of the Oyster Roast overall with our gin. Yay! We're inside the Hackney, which is a restaurant and distillery owned by myself and Nick. Have a great staff, great chef. Everything I learned at NC State, I have used continuously throughout my entire career with PepsiCo, with Quaker, and now definitely in terms of the gin production. Our gin has sort of 3 flavor profiles. It's got a citrus, so it comes from lime leaf, lemongrass, limes themselves. So we have that sort of fresh ingredients in terms of the citrus. We have spicy note, which comes from the peppercorns. Then we've also got the fruit, so we've got North Carolina fruits in there, as blueberry, etc. The name 1,000 Piers. Well, naming the gin was interesting because we wanted the design to be all those beautiful things we loved about Washington and the river where I grew up in Riverside. So the sailing, the beautiful osprey, the piers where everybody loves to hang out. It really just sort of defines here. If you ride down the river, it's pier after pier after pier, people having a good time. Nick entered the gin into 2 competitions. One, the U.S. Spirits competition, and also the Las Vegas Global Spirits Award. So I'm so excited that in that we got a gold medal with 96 points, which is awesome. And we were the 2nd best gin in the U.S. and the 6th best gin in the world in that competition. And Nick's doing a great job in terms of going around getting it in ABC stores. We're in a lot of ABC stores in North Carolina. So today, the bartenders are gonna make some cocktails for you. One's called the Lim Sip, which is a kind of play on a UK cold medicine. That's the name of it, but this doesn't taste like cold medicine, but it may help you feel better. And also, we have one called the Bee Sting, again, which is a little bit of sting because it's got a little heat. Both should go nicely with the oysters, not too strong, but very complimentary.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Hackney, and today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make what we're calling the Lim Sip. First, 1.5 ounces of our gin, then 1.5 ounces of Saint Germain, 3/4 ounce of our fresh squeezed lemon juice, and then 3 dashes of Angostura aromatic bitters, and you can get these at any grocery store. So then you fill your shaker with ice and shake for 20 seconds. And then you can strain into a champagne flute with a lemon twist. And now you have the perfect Lim Sip to go with your oysters.
Today I'm going to show you how to make the Bee Sting, which is personally one of my favorite cocktails to pair with any oysters, especially using the 1,000 Piers gin. Start out 1 jalapeno wheel. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our muddler right here, and we're gonna muddle the jalapeno, get all the juices, get everything we can out to really flavor this cocktail up. When muddling, press down and twist the wrist. 2 ounces of gin to start with. 0.5 ounces of honey water. It's just gonna be equal parts honey and equal parts hot water. Then for the citrus, gonna go for 0.75 ounces. Now we're gonna do the fun part. Add in some ice. Whenever I'm doing any cocktail that I'm gonna serve up in a coupe glass right here, I always like to put in a little extra ice, just my personal preference. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna shake this one for 15 seconds. Get all that little extra liquid out. Do a little double strain with a fine mesh strainer. And then last but not least, find a really nice wheel, put it right at the top. And this right here is the Bee Sting.
All right, thank you to Susan and Nick Sanders for showcasing their mixology skills for our event tonight and introducing us to their gin. These drinks are perfect to pair with your oysters. And now I'd like to switch gears and bring you greetings from a few familiar faces. If you've ever been to one of our Eastern North Carolina oyster roasts, you know that Dave Eggleston and Paige Harris are the driving forces behind these 2 events. First, we'll hear from Paige about how their annual tradition got started, and then Dave will share a little bit about Seamast and the Crystal Coast Oyster Roast. You'll also get the chance to hear from my colleagues at the Alumni Association with their thoughts on the importance of Wolfpack community.
Hi, I'm Paige Allen Harris, Beaufort County Alumni Network Leader and the past president of the NC State Alumni Association Board of Directors, and I currently serve on the NC State Foundation Board. Today we're filming in my beautiful hometown of Little Washington. Washington, Beaufort County, and Eastern North Carolina all have a long history of Wolfpack connections. There's not a college at the university that doesn't affect our lives every day. From the humanities to agriculture to business, textiles, sciences, natural resources, all of them affect us. And we are so proud to be a part of that tradition. One of the traditions that we have in this beautiful part of the state is the Beaufort County Oyster Roast. Many years ago, this was right when Chancellor Woodson and Executive Director Benny Sugg were new to the university. There was a call put out for a membership drive. And Lala Sidbury, who was the network leader at the time, called me and said, I really want to win this competition. So we put our heads together and said, let's find as many members to join this awesome alumni association as we can, because the prize was our new chancellor would visit us. Well, guess what? Tiny but powerful Beaufort County won that membership drive, and Chancellor Woodson came to visit us. And what a better way to showcase Eastern North Carolina and what we love to do, but by hosting an oyster roast. That first year, there were probably about 60 people in attendance. We had it in a small barn at Lala and Forrest Sidbury's house. And that event has grown to over 300 people on an annual basis. What should have been the 10th anniversary of our oyster roast has to be postponed this year. But that's okay, because the engagement team has put together a fantastic program about oysters and their significance in North Carolina. Let me tell you, though, about the great event that we will have face-to-face next year. We have live music, we have oysters, of course, we have all kinds of seafood, and we have lots of other food and great fellowship. There is not a person that has ever attended this event that hasn't said, let me know, I will be back next year. That's one of the great things that I love about the Chancellor, because the first time he had an oyster in Little Washington, he said, I promise you, if you have the oysters, I'll come. And he's lived up to that promise. We've even had Derek Wittenberg, we've had Coach Avent, and many other Wolfpack celebrities that joined us. So we hope that next year you'll join us too. And in the meantime, reach out into your communities and find some other Wolfpack connections, because we can't wait to see you in a little bit. And as always, go Pack.
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Dave Eggleston. I'm a professor in the Department of Marine, Earth, and Atmospheric Sciences at NC State, as well as serving as director of Marine Lab, known as CMAST. We're located in this beautiful facility on Bogue Sound in Morehead City, and located about 3 miles from Beaufort Inlet. And so just to orient you, we're right down here, Morehead City, close to Cape Lookout, and providing access in the central part of the North Carolina coast for our faculty, staff, students to these amazing habitats. It really puts us at an advantage in terms of our research, our training, and our extension programs. So we're working in the estuaries, the tributaries, coastal areas, and then out in the Gulf Stream. Our mission is to discover coastal solutions, and I think we have a really strong portfolio in both basic and applied research, extension, and undergraduate and graduate teaching. And we provide a focal point for citizen contact that I'm going to illustrate in a couple of slides. In terms of a state agency, if you will, I think we're very unique in that in the CMAS building, we actually sit on the campus of Carteret Community College, and on the 4th floor of our building, we host community college instructors and classrooms. We're a satellite campus for the North Carolina Sea Grant program, as well as North Carolina Cooperative Extension. Embedded in our programs are 3 sort of PhD level staff members from the North Carolina Aquarium. 2 of them are veterinary medicine experts that collaborate with our aquatic animal health program, and then 1 leads their research conservation program. We have graduate training programs in partnership with NOAA, as well as the North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries. And we also share the Marine Mammal Stranding Program with the Division of Marine Fisheries. And then we share wet lab space with our sister institution, UNC Chapel Hill. In terms of NC State, I think we're very unique in that we have faculty, staff, and students from 3 colleges and 5 departments. And what that does is that it creates these, what I call creative collisions, because we have these different disciplines that are all housed together. And I feel like it greatly facilitates our ability to gain funding, but also just to train students in this sort of multidisciplinary environment. And just to give you a taste of the different things that go on there, our fisheries ecology program, for example, this student right here is providing biological support for the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament, one of the largest fish tournaments in the world. Below her, this is Craig Harms, one of our vet med faculty. This is actually a river otter that's been anesthetized. And so Craig is giving this otter a checkup because you don't want to introduce an animal that has a disease into the aquarium exhibits. And so our CMAS vet med faculty actually provide the clinical support for the entire North Carolina aquarium system. As I mentioned, we host the Marine Mammal Stranding Network. This is a picture from some of my research up here in the middle top, doing some large-scale oyster restoration in Pamlico Sound. And we're also giving our students, both undergraduate and graduate, an opportunity to do deep sea research. So we've had our students that have gone down in Alvin anywhere from 1,000 to 7,000 feet deep. We do a lot of K through 12 STEM education outreach. We work on a lot of fishery species, but also threatened and endangered species such as sturgeon, as well as invasive species such as lionfish. We do a lot with academic programming. We have a semester at CMAS program, which is a standalone program. It's sort of like a study abroad at the coast. And so we have 16 students that are at CMAS right now taking a unique curriculum of courses that are only taught at the coast and heavily involved in hands-on research. We have a summer fellows program, and then we host summer field courses from main campus programs that will visit the coast. We provide graduate training as well as training in veterinary medicine, as well as hosting folks that have their veterinary medicine degree, but they're doing a residency at CMAS. Our students and visiting faculty staff stay in our dorms, which we refer to as coastal quarters. It's currently nearly fully occupied with 16 undergraduate students, and they seem to really like it. And lastly, just looking forward to next year. So I want to plant the seed that I'm hoping the end of March or early April of 2022, we're actually having an oyster roast in person. This is always a fun event because we're able typically to get about 6 different oyster growers, and you can try their product, talk with them. We have barbecue, we have live music. And I think there's the Chancellor right there with one of my students flying a drone from a couple of years ago. And so with that, just want to let you know where we're headed. The expertise at CMAS is really coalescing around food security and ocean health. As you know, we've got a lot of issues related to supporting ecotourism, food security, as well as ocean health, particularly related to climate change impacts such as hurricanes and sea level rise. So please stay tuned to all the exciting things that we're doing. And thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Benny Suggs, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving as Executive Director of our NC State Alumni Association. I want to thank Dave and Paige and all their volunteers for putting on some incredible events these last several years with their annual oyster roast. Gosh, they've been so much fun. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this year for obvious reasons, but we are excited about next year. We know it'll be even better, and some wonderful oysters with terrific wolfpackers. Now, not only have we enjoyed a great experience, but we've also learned a lot about the oyster industry in Eastern North Carolina and what a huge positive financial difference it makes for that part of the state and also for the entire state of North Carolina. Now, this is an example of some of the virtual programming that we've been doing since the onset of the pandemic. We've had a lot of fun putting it on. We've had a lot of good input from you all on what you'd like to see and hear. We've done things like Halloween pumpkin carving, all the way to very important career services. And we'll continue to do that. And we welcome your participation and your ideas. So be sure you check out our website periodically and stay up online with social media. We want you to stay connected. So alumni who are connected and passionate is what fuels our Wolfpack pride. Now we have a wonderful, wonderful alumni association, And a big, big part of that are the network leaders who help you and us stay connected and stay informed and passionate and proud of NC State. I want to close by saying, take good care of yourself and each other's, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, go Wolfpack.
Hi, I'm Andrea Sellers, and as Assistant Director of Regional Engagement, I work with all of our alumni networks across the state of North Carolina. I want to quickly introduce you to our alumni volunteers for the networks in Eastern North Carolina. First up, we have Tommy Fulcher, class of 1981. Tommy heads up our Northeastern Counties network. That encompasses Pasquotank, Perquimans, Currituck, Dare, Chowan, and Camden counties. Then we go to Jennifer Green, class of 1993. Jennifer heads up our Crystal Coast Alumni Network. And our New Hanover County network is led by an excellent team of alumni, including Fred Tichy, class of 1991, Bruce Lennon, class of 1990, Chris Honig, class of 2007, and Todd Minshew, class of 1987. These volunteers are your resources for what's happening with NC State in your local communities. We're grateful for all of our network leaders, and especially this group, along with Paige Harris, for keeping our alumni across Eastern North Carolina engaged. I encourage you to get connected with your local networks by finding these groups on Facebook. I'll drop the links to their pages in the chat now. I know we're all missing our Wolfpack community, and I personally can't wait until it's safe for all of us to meet up for a game watch or network social again. In the meantime, I hope everyone will remain engaged with our upcoming virtual events and keep cheering your Wolfpack on from wherever you are. Thank you, and go Pack.
Okay, I hope you have your cocktail ready to enjoy while we participate in the upcoming presentations. We will now be assigning you to your breakout room based on the topic you selected ahead of time. You'll transition there automatically in just a moment. If you did not make a selection ahead of time, just hang tight and we'll get you moved to where you'd like to go. As a note, the virtual tour with local growers will begin with a video, followed by live Q&A time. When the presentations and Q&A are complete, that will end our program for the evening. We will be emailing out the recordings for each piece of this program after the event in case you'd like to learn more about more than one of these topics. As Andrea mentioned, we've got lots of great virtual events coming up soon, so keep an eye out on the Alumni Association's website and social media to learn more. And now, enjoy the presentations.